Welcome trainers, Watts here, and today we are going to be on the battle spot ladder trying to get our rating to a decent level. Like right now I've been playing a lot more showdown than actual in-game battle spot, so my rating in-game is pretty trash and my rating on showdown is pretty good. But yeah, so we're going to try today to get our rating somewhat close to our showdown rating, so I'll just cut it whenever we find a trainer. So we've got a player from Spain with a rating of 1520, I believe, is what that said. He's got a team of the Alolan Ninetales, Alolan Sandslash, with an Araquanid, Togedemaru, a Tapu Lele, and a Garchomp. So a pretty cool team from my opponent's end. So I'm scared of that Fake Out. If I see Fake Out, Aerodactyl just becomes so much worse. But Aerodactyl is still really good for the Rock Slide pressure against his Ninetales and Sandslash. I'm definitely going to lead the Gigalith because that Slush Rush is a serious threat if he decides to bring that. And then Kartana is good for Araquanid, Arcanine's good for Togedemaru, but Kartana can also deal with Togedemaru really well. Kartana can also deal with Tapu Lele, so we're going to go with Kartana there. And then Tapu Fini can deal with Garchomp. I just get my own Garchomp with the Z move, but that's a little bit of a fringe counter. We're going to go with Tapu Fini, and as our last pick, we're going to go with the Aerodactyl because it's better against Ninetales than Garchomp. As Arcanine is also good for the 4 times, we'll bring the Arcanine. It's only bad against Araquanid. Aerodactyl is also good, but I feel like I just need everything else more. So my opponent's going to lead off with the Ninetales and Araquanid, so really good lead matchup for me here. As my Gigalith is threatened, but I do get up the sand instead of his hail, and Kartana is in a very good spot here. So I'm just going to go ahead and switch out Gigalith, and probably Leaf Blade Araquanid. I could also Smart Strike Ninetales, but the Araquanid could potentially OHKO me with a move, and even though it's more likely to protect as well, I just want to do it to be safe, because Ninetales can't really touch my Kartana anyway, so it's not like he gets much value out of that Protect. I'll bring an Arcanine here to deal with the Ninetales and a potential anything he has in back. As, oh, Leaf Blade isn't super. Oh, that's bad. I actually didn't know that. Oh, that's really bad. Alright, we're just going to Smart Strike this Ninetales because that Leaf Blade would not OHKO the Araquanid. I could have Leaf Bladed it anyway to get the 2-hit KO, which actually might have been correct, as he does switch out into Garchomp, so this is a good start turned terrible for me. As I didn't know that Leaf Blade wasn't super against Araquanid. I forgot that Bug resisted Grass. I get the Intimidate though, which is actually super good against both these physical type attackers. As Araquanid does go for the Protect, so my play actually turned out to be pretty decent. So I'm going to take a little bit of rough skin damage here, and wow, that does a ton of damage. That was a critical hit, okay. I don't know if that would even have done over half without the crit, but I mean, we take it. As I could, if I had double protect, I probably would go for double protect here, try to fish out a Z move from my opponent, which I'm pretty sure he is going for. But because I do not have access to that, I'm going to go ahead and switch out into Tapu Fini to take a potential water type Z move and go for the Leaf Blade onto Araquanid, as I think Garchomp's probably going to protect. I expect Araquanid to Z move and Garchomp to protect. And if Garchomp doesn't protect, if he has the Ground EMZ, that could be really bad for me. As Kartana will just go down. Or maybe not actually after the Intimidate. We'll go for this play. As I was running out of time. Like, the issue with Z moves is that you don't really, it's hard to predict your opponent when you don't know exactly what Z moves they have. Like, you don't know all the options they have access to. So, okay, he does just go for the Earthquake, so his Araquanid is actually going to take damage here. Just a tiny bit, though. And Kartana and Tapu Fini eat that up really well. Leaf Blade comes out doing massive amounts of damage. And we just see a Liquidation coming out for Araquanid, so that turn played out really well for us. And I'd be really surprised if his Araquanid and his Garchomp don't have Z moves, as those are some pretty common Z move users in the format. So now, Tapu Fini's in a really good position. The only threat is if he has Poison Jab on Chomp, but even a Poison Jab isn't going to knock me out from this range. So I can just go for... Yeah, I can just go for the Muddy Water and Leaf Blade play here. And let's actually check his team real quick, just to see what switch options he has. As he does have Ninetales open for switch option. We're going to go for the Smart Strike, because it's still going to Oko with that Muddy Water, I presume. If not, that'd be terrible, but I really doubt it wouldn't be able to. But we'll do it for science anyway, just to, you know for future reference, as... You know, winning isn't the most important thing here, it's actually getting the most information, so this is the play that gives me the most information, so I'll go with it. As he switches out into Ninetales, he's probably going to protect Araquanid here, which is good on my opponent's end. I might have wanted to actually Calm Mind on Tapu Fini, since my Tapu Fini was in such a good position. It was a pretty free Calm Mind there. But that's okay, because now I can just... I mean, Ninetales doesn't really threaten me, so I don't really know what it's going to be doing here. And if I get an accuracy drop, that could be crazy helpful. Maybe he thinks he can knock me out with a Freeze Drive from this range, but my Kartana is Assault Vested, so there's no way. As now he probably switches out Araquanid. We're going to go for a little bit of a ballsy play here, but I'm predicting his Araquanid to switch into Garchomp. And even if it doesn't and kills my Kartana will still pick up the KO on Ninetales. The best play on his end is if he protects Ninetales and goes for like a Z-move on the Kartana. That would definitely blow me out, but it's a really unlikely play as he doesn't. He just goes for a Blizzard. So as long as he doesn't get a freeze here, I should be fine. As he doesn't, so Smart Strike will pick up the KO. And this, he didn't switch, so this Ice Beam will not pick up the KO on the Araquanid, and he'll actually take out my Kartana here, which is pretty unfortunate. Unless for whatever reason he attacked into Fini, but that'd be really unlikely. As I do now show him that I have the Ice Beam. As he Leech Lifes Kartana, but that's a really, wow, okay. Oh wow, that's a crit. I feel like that actually wouldn't have killed me. Even from that range, because that's a very, not very effective, that's 4 times not very effective. I feel like that crit was mandatory. A little bit unfortunate, but I mean, he could have just Liquidation, so it's not really something that matters much. I mean, he should have just Liquidation, but I guess he got a little bit of health for his triples. As now, he has Garchomp in the back, I know that. And what is Araquanid's speed here? It's faster than Gigalith, so we're gonna bring in Arcanine. As we'll get the Intimidate off onto Araquanid. The second Intimidate. Oh right, Araquanid's also Intimidated. That definitely would not have killed Kartana. As he brings in Tapu Lele, that's his 4th Pokemon. So that's actually really bad, because that turns out I really needed the Kartana. So maybe I shouldn't have went for such a ballsy play, but I mean, I feel like at this, like the elo I'm at right now, players just aren't like doing the most optimal plays, so they're kind of just leaving in Pokemon when they shouldn't be, like that Araquanid staying in. I mean, I guess he could predict me to predict him, and then, you know, stayed in and went for the attack, or maybe he just wanted the free switch, so that's possible as well. But sometimes you just don't know. So now we know for a fact, pretty much, that this is a Z-move Lele. I think he's going to do it into Arcanine. But I don't have Protect on Arcanine, so there's no real way for me to counteract that. Yeah, this is super unfortunate. But yeah, I just have to kind of sack Arcanine here. It's either sack Arcanine or sack Gigalith because I don't have Protect on Arcanine. As he just goes for that Thunderbolt. I don't know, this is really confusing me because he hasn't shown a Z move the entire game. Wow, that did nothing. Oh, right, because it's ability. Oh, that was my bad. Okay, so my fault we lost this game. But, oh wow, we got the defense drop as well. But that was super confusing because he showed 3 Pokemon, all very common Z move holders, and had very, 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 very good times of using every single Z move on each of those, and never did it. So, to me, that really insinuated that he had the Z move on Lele, but then he didn't even have the Z move on Lele. So, that was really weird. But I should have went for a different attack there. But I forgot about Water Bubble lowering the damage of Fire type attacks. But this is why we play. As I still have access to the Z move, but I'm just gonna go for Heavy Slam. I need to kill this. I need to get rid of this Arachnid first, because it's threatening for a lot of damage, but at the same time I don't have a way to get rid of it. So Ashley, I'm just going to go for the Rock Slide, and I guess a Snarl? Like, this is super unfortunate right now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we just lose, because the Arachnid is faster than Gigalith, so it's just going to do a ton of damage with Liquidation. As here, he shows the Psychic Z move. Okay. So last turn I was really expecting him to do that into Arcanine, but I guess he did see Tapu Fini as the bigger threat because it did threaten the Garchomp he has in the back, but Tapu Fini was more likely to protect in that situation, in my opinion. And this does kill. Okay. So, if this Liquidation somehow does like no damage, as that actually does a lot less than I expected. So, and the Rock Slide does a ton. So, I guess it's possible. No, there's no way because he has Garchomp and he's just gonna Earthquake. Okay, well, I can protect the Earthquake this first time. Or no, I can Wide Guard the okay. This requires like so much read, but I can Wide. Okay, wait. If I Wide Guard the Earthquake, force him to hit his Tapu Lele the next turn. Alternatively, I can protect this turn and then hope I get the roll next turn with Wide Guard to force him to hit the Tapu Lele, as he might go for a different attack. But Garchomps usually don't carry another attack that can hit Gigalith. So I'm just gonna go for the double Wide Guard here. As that would be really funny if Tapu Lele goes for an attack and then gets knocked out by his own Earthquake. As it doesn't, it goes for the protect like I expected, so now he's Earthquaking. Yep. So now, if he Earthquakes again, he threatens knocking out his own Tapu Lele, or he like definitely will. So he probably won't. But if he does, then I can maybe survive. No, there's no way I can survive if he does. So if I Wide Guard again, he does it again. Or do I try for the roll with Protect? This is super difficult. I think I have to try for the roll. Because Psychic is going to deal a lot of damage to me. No. Oh no! Oh no, I didn't select in time. Dang it, I should have just predicted. Okay, let's see what Giggle is going for, I guess. Oh, I predicted. Okay, no, but I failed. As he does just go for the Dragon Claw Psychic, as I expected. As, yeah, that's just going to kill me. But, okay, if I did live, I would have been pretty heartbroken, because then I could have... Nah, it was still a loss, but anyway, that was some funny mind games at the end there. But we do lose by our own fault, but also by our opponent's questionable plays sometimes, but obviously my questionable plays as well. As a flamethrower into a Raccoonid. It's not the smartest decision. But, like, that one turn where he didn't switch out a Raccoonid, I felt was, like, really, really incorrect, which, like, obviously in Pokemon, there's never going to be plays that are just strictly incorrect. Obviously there are, but most of the time there's not going to be any plays that are strictly incorrect, because you can always be predicting, and that's the reason you're going for them. But in that situation, it was such a risky read that it wasn't worth it. Because if you switched him to Chomp, like, Chomp wouldn't die to a Leaf Blade, most likely. So it was just awkward. But at the same time, I didn't have to hard read him, because, like, a Leaf Blade would have been doing a lot of damage to whatever he was switching in, so it wasn't worth it to try to get the one-hit knockout onto Ninetales. But, like, the Ninetales switch-in was so free, because if I did go for the Leaf Blade and he switched in Ninetales, then it definitely would have survived and then been able to outspeed me. So, it really seemed like the correct-ish play to switch into Ninetales, but I guess he was reading me to read him and then not go for it. But either way, or there's always the chance of him just wanting the free switch, which is definitely a viable strategy. So sometimes it's really hard to figure out if your opponent does want those free switches, because if you don't read them, like, intentionally sacking their own Pokemon, then you can be in a big trouble. As we're going to find a rating of 1509 with a team of Tapu Lele, Garchomp, Gastrodon, Gyarados, Marowak, Porygon 2. So my answers for Porygon 2 are Aerodactyl Taunt and Arcanine Roar. Aerodactyl's really good against this team, as so is Kartana. Kartana isn't really threatened by anything except for the Marowak and a ground EMZ Garchomp. We could also set up the weather. He has Gastrodon and Gyarados to hit Gigalith. I'll just go with the Kartana, and then if he does lead Marowak, I can switch into Chomp. And we'll bring, I guess, the Gigalith for the weather. Tapu Fini, I guess Tapu Fini can Ice Beam Garchomp. So we'll take Tapu Fini, because Gigalith is pretty bad against the double water types that he's holding. And Garchomp's Earthquake. So he leads Garchomp, Gyarados. So it's actually really good for me here. Unless he is running Ground DMZ. As the Intimidate is annoying, but it's not really a big deal. We'll go for the Tailwind and the switch out into Tapu Fini in case he is carrying that Ground DMZ, and if not, then Tapu Fini is just really good against the Pokemon that he's holding anyway. And with that Tailwind, it'll be super threatening. This team is very Tailwind-centric because it has that Kartana and that Tapu Fini that have no speed investment, so they're super bulky, and they're, middle speed tier that become huge threats once they get that Tailwind. But he actually protects Chomp, so that's really good for me. Not exactly sure what he was predicting and why he went for that, but we'll see what this Gyarados goes for. Probably an Ice Fang onto my Aerodactyl, yep. No, onto my Kartana. Huh. I think a lot of players just underestimate the typing of Kartana, so they see that its special defense and its HP are so low that they think it'll just die to everything. But it doesn't, because its typing is really good, so that wouldn't even killed with like even just minimal HP investment, but especially wouldn't even deal any damage to my Assault Vest version. So now we can just go for a Rock Slide and an Ice Beam, as I don't want to overpredict too much, because this will be good damage regardless, and overpredicting has really gotten me in some trouble. But yeah, he does switch up the Garchomp into Gastrodon, so I can just double... Oh wow, Gyarados actually avoids that Rock Slide, so that's actually really unfortunate, because that could have potentially been a 2-hit KO. But we'll see how much damage Ice Beam does. It is neutral hitting. Some decent damage. As he actually goes for the Waterfall into his own Gastrodon Storm Drain. So I don't know if that was intentional, but if not, that's heartbreaking, and if so, then cool, I guess. Okay, so we're just gonna go for the Rock Slide again, and then switch back out into Kartana. As we have one more turn of Tailwind after this one. And if I didn't miss that Rock Slide into Gyarados, this would be a really different game. Because I believe that's, depending on how bulky the Gyarados is, it should be a 2-hit. And Gastrodon avoids this time, but that's not too important. Just the flinch chance that matters. As that is a probably bulky Gyarados, because that's not going to be a 2-hit. It is going to Ice Fang into my Aerodactyl correctly this time. And it's going to not even bring me down to Sash. And he Sludge Bombs into Kartana, so that's perfect. Now we can just Rock Slide again. And, I mean, the Protect/Switch from Gastrodon is so obvious. At the same time, whatever he switches to would take a ton of damage from this. But at the same time, this would ensure that my Aerodactyl doesn't go down to the Gyarados, and Gastrodon would just... Yeah, we're doing this way. Because Gastrodon, the only, like, if I attack the Gastrodon, the Gyarados is going to take out my Aerodactyl. And also, Rock Slide is a nice little, like, backup plan, so if he doesn't actually protect there, then at least you have the Rock Slide flinch chance, so it kind of helps with going for a little bit of riskier plays. But he does go for the Protect on the Gastrodon, so we're going to kill this Gyarados and still have Aerodactyl around to get up a second Tailwind, or, you know, just spam Rock Slide somewhere. As we do get that Beast Boost. And if he brings back in Garchomp, that tells me that he probably has Ground EMZ. If he brings something else, what was on his team that could threaten Kartana? No, he does bring it back in the Garchomp. So that's probably a Ground EMZ Garchomp. So we're gonna go for the Tailwind. And then switch out into Finny. Hopefully he KOs my Aerodactyl this turn, and then we can just bring in Kartana and be in a super good position here. This is like the only problem with Z-moves. Sometimes you just can't really play around them, because sometimes if you're giving up too much to play around a Z-move, it's not worth it. So sometimes it's better to just take it. Just take the you getting knocked out for their Z-move in some situations. I mean, he just goes for the Rock Slide, so not exactly sure what his... I guess his plan was Rock Slide flinch on my Kartana. But Gastrodon goes for an Ice Beam. This might do like a decent amount since he does have that special attack raise, but it actually does nothing. And we don't get Frozen, so this is looking really good for us. As, do we know what he has in the back? As the mist disappears, doesn't really matter. Oh, by the way, guys, a huge shout out to @GeneMarkVGC on Twitter. Make sure to go follow him. There will be a link in the description, because he is actually the one who traded me this team. So now, let's check what he has in the back. We don't actually know yet, but Leaf Blade should be doing a ton of damage to whatever it is. So we'll just go for it, and then we'll go for the Ice Beam. onto the Garchomp, as he can't pull a double switch, so I mean, he's probably going to protect one of these and switch the other. But that's fine, as he protects Garchomp and doesn't switch out, so his Gastron's just going to go down. Probably just hoping that I misplayed and tried to overprotect, but we're just going to go with the safe play, as we are up on Pokemon, and we're in a very good position right now. Kartana, Tapu Fini versus Garchomp, Gastrodon. So we get the Beast Boost raise. Ice Beam goes into the Protect, and he's going to switch in his last Pokemon. It's probably Marowak. But, I mean, if it was Marowak, we would have probably seen it earlier, so maybe not. But if it is Marowak, that's good for us, because we have Chomp to deal with it. And I don't really know what else it could be. Oh, Tapu Lele. Okay. That's completely fine, because we still have the Tailwind up, and we can just Smart Strike into that slot and Ice Beam into the Garchomp, and that's pretty much game over. So overall, this game was a little bit poorly played on my opponent's end, but I mean, this is just Tailwind doing its work, because if your Aerodactyl is uncontested and you can just get up multiple Tailwinds, that's really strong for this team, as this team is bulky and wow, it's actually Focus as Chomp, so we'll see if he has some sort of Grandium Season, as no, he just has Poison Jab, so he's going to take me down to below half, but not even KO me, and then the next turn, well, I guess some shenanigans could happen, so, oh, Tailwind doesn't even peter out, so never mind. Nothing shenanigan-y can happen, as we're just going to do the same thing. Because we still have Tailwind, so there's no way Tapu Lele could outspeed and maybe go for a Psychic Z move into my Kartana, but, oh, plus, I actually calced it, and my Kartana will actually live a Psychic Z move from Lele at full HP, so that actually wasn't even a worry in its own. So, thank you guys so much for watching. That's going to be it for this episode. Make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe to see future uploads, and make sure to check out the playlist of the other Storm the Ladder videos in this series. And make sure to leave a comment as well to get involved with the community. Anyway, guys, thanks again. Peace out.